afternoon. This afternoon, our focus remains on the Pakistan drone attack, and our senior associate editor and my colleague Shaman Sen also joining us from the Delhi studio. Shaman, we'll be taking this forward with our guests because, we are trying to understand what really went behind this attack. Investigations, of course, currently underway. On ground zero, we're seeing a lot of security presence there. You have the DIG, CRPF along with the Jammu team of NI that is currently present at the spot and top Air Force officials there as of now.
Well, before I get in our guest right now, there's also some breaking news coming in, also updating what's the situation on the ground. We are being told now the DG CRPF has also reached Jammu. This after top brass of the Indian Air Force also currently assessing the damage and also perhaps whether at all this was some sort of a dry run or not. The drone attack, what we are being told by our sources within the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the National Investigation Agency is that there are two perhaps options. One, the PIA balloons that could be used for dropping in ammunition. We've seen this happening over the last several months, and also IED attack, that was the attempt that was perhaps being made by using these hexacopter drones. Let me bring in Sunny Sharma, an expert as far as the drone technology is concerned. Sunny, one big disadvantage that perhaps our forces essentially have with regards to the anti-drone technology. However, having said that, the Navy perhaps is trying to procure this technology from their Israeli counterparts. What's your assessment of the information that's coming in from the ground?
Lost. No audio.
Well, Sunny, just to bring you in right now with regards to the drone attack technology,
on ground
this
is very
anti-drone technology.
So the problem has been identified, Sean, quite some time. For past few years, Indian Armed Forces is already working towards getting the new tactical weapons to counter this new generation threat. You might have already seen drones have become such a big weapon of create a huge problem. Already, you might have seen an Azerbaijan attack on President Maduro. So the problem has already been well known. Indian Armed Forces and Minister of Defense is already doing fast-track procurement. We ourselves for last 3 years have identified these issues and developing technology to counter them. So solution is out there. It's just the time to implement. I don't see a major challenge to do so. But the threat is real, the threat is evident. And I think the way forward, this might continue as one of the, standard tactics for terrorists or any of those activities. I'm not getting audio.
Well, Sunny, just also a quick update from you with regards to how exactly are we to look at the situation currently, because what the agencies are essentially indicating that not just drones, perhaps there could be other modes of aerial attack, the PIA balloons that we have seen that were intercepted in the last couple of months. How dangerous perhaps is the situation given the fact that these are very inexpensive ways of carrying out attacks?
You're absolutely right. The first cost is the main parameter, and the access to technology. These technologies are easily accessible, on commercial off-the-shelf market. So weaponizing these balloons, drones, is an easy task for any non-state actor, and they're very easily accessible. Programming it, designing it, you already seen the way the whole gamut of the drone warfare has changed. So it's an imminent threat, to be very honest. Yes, we need to have solutions around it.
Well, thank you very much, Sunny, for getting us the latest. Let me also quickly try and go across to some of our reporters who would be joining. But a quick update of what we know so far, Krithwin, with regards to the investigation that is being carried out. We're being told that DG of CRPF as well as top brass of the Indian Air Force currently making an assessment. As far as the National Investigation Agency is concerned, a local team from the Jammu unit currently carrying out an assessment. A preliminary assessment would be done, and thereafter this would be submitted to the NIA headquarters, and then a formal FIR would also be registered by the National Investigation Agency. As of now, we're being told that there were two blasts that took place. These are low intensity blasts, and very minor injuries were basically sustained by some of the Indian Air Force personnel. But it is a cause of national concern given the fact that this attack took place at one of our technical airports where, of course, there are no fighters. But having said that, you do have a helicopter base in that technical airport of Jammu, and it does appear at this point in time, a preliminary assessment, that the targets were essentially Indian Air Force's assets, and that's the reason why it becomes extremely important at this point in time to try and find out who exactly was behind it. It is amply clear that this was an aerial attack that was basically carried out. There was a damage on the roof is what we are being told by the Indian Air Force. But however, having said that, no confirmation really coming in from the agencies with regards to the method that was basically employed. Was it a drone attack or were balloons were basically used? That's something that is still being investigated. Christine, let me also try and get an update from you with regards to what's really happening on the ground, and perhaps with regards to the recent developments that have basically taken place of people coming in and taking an assessment of the situation.
Absolutely. Shravan, a lot of developments taking place, and right now the focus is only on the investigation. What really went behind carrying out this attack? Because remember, this is not in the periphery. This has happened very, very close to the helicopter hangar, and possibly that was also the target, is why there is so much concern over this attack. We've been picking up several such voices, Shravan, since early this morning, including our defense experts. Let's listen into one of our defense experts saying what he has to and making and of what he had to make out of the current situation on ground.
IED blasts are said to have gone out inside the Jammu airport, somewhere in the technical area, perhaps close to where the helicopters are parked. If this is true, this raises certain important questions. Jammu airport is highly guarded, and how did then the IEDs reach inside the airport, and that too in the technical area? Was it that a drone was used to deliver the bomb IED inside the airport?
So there you have Brigadier Malik, really raising some very important concerns on how did this really happen. We have more reactions coming in, because this is certainly a huge, huge security concern in the entire country at this point in time. A twin drone attack that has taken place in Jammu Air Base. And remember, two blasts within 5 minutes that took place. Also, two personnel of the Air Force who suffered minor injuries as well. Of course, they could intercept the second attack that could have possibly taken place after this twin blast. So a lot of reactions coming in. Our defense experts are talking about an anti-drone system also. That is certainly the need of the hour. We're picking up voices on that front. Gursimran, my colleague, is also with us on this broadcast, because Gursimran, you've been tracking each and every development that you're picking up as far as the investigations go. For the moment, quickly bringing in former Vice Chief Air Marshal, retired Pranab Kumar Barbura. Sir, thank you for joining us here on Republic TV this afternoon. Sir, everyone is talking about the anti-drone system that needs to be in place, and it's about time now. But we can also say that terror tactics have a way of replicating themselves. We're seeing this methodology being adopted by several countries, several groups, especially as far as conflict areas go. But now that we've seen what we've seen in Jammu today, what do you make of the situation, and what do you think is the need of the hour?
So first and foremost, let's not rush to some hasty decisions, and especially by the media and through your reporters at various places, saying that it's a drone attack. Look, it's a difficult thing to do, drone attack, even to PIA system is very expensive, very, very expensive. One. And secondly, I have my so-called faith in the investigation agencies. Let them come to a conclusion, because here you have wasted 2 IEDs or whatever this has been dropped or planted or whatever it might be. It may not be what conclusions we are forming so very fast. Let us wait for goodness sake, find out what it is, because Pakistan realizes if it is the drones that were used to drop these IEDs or whatever explosives, they know very well that
we seem to have lost that line with Air Marshal Barbora. He certainly of the opinion that we must wait for the investigations to take its own course. And whatever the conclusion be, India certainly will be facing it with all its power. Because remember, whatever said and done, one thing is for sure, that this is not a very conventional way of unleashing an attack. This is certainly a different kind of modus operandi that we're looking at. And let me quickly go back to Sunny Sharma, who continues to be with us. Sunny, we've been talking about, whether this was a drone attack or, the different reports coming in of how Jammu police have also warned about a PI balloon dropping. That is something that is also being used time and again. But certainly, whatever said and done, we do know, as a matter of fact, that given what the global situation is, we do need an anti-drone system in place in India. Like we've been talking about, the Indian Navy is on its way to procuring it. But how soon can we really expect those kind of things to take place, given what the situation demands as of now?
Well, you're absolutely right. And we have to wait for the investigation for more data to come out, whether it was a drone, it was an air balloon, or some other vertical mode of drop. At this point of time, emergency procurement is already in play. India should be shortly getting the required counter-drone systems in their hands as soon as possible. So I think rather we wait, but the problem still remains that it's need of the hour, and we do need the systems. So before we comment, I think let's get more details on ground, whether the drop was a drone.
Hold on,
Yeah.
We lost that line with the Air Marshal Barbora. He's back with us on the phone line. Sir, you were saying that we must not jump to conclusions, and fair enough. But like I was raising this with one of our panelists, this certainly is a different modus operandi. That certainly we can say, right? So what is it that India should do now? And, how should we go about our strategy? Because this is not what we've seen very frequently in the recent past. Apart from, of course, drones being used to drop ammunition, weapons, etc.
No, first and foremost, only after we have confirmed that these were coming from across the border in the manner that the media is going harping about as by drone attack, or I don't know what else it might be. If it is true that it has come from across the border, which might be there, but in the manner that you all have talked of, then the retaliation from India's side will be so drastic that I don't think Pakistan would have taken this risk. That is my personal opinion. So let us, for goodness sake, don't build up a whole story without confirmation from the expert investigation agencies. We will retaliate if it is true. If it is proved to be something else or of lesser capacity weapon system used, then we shall see. And strategies are already in place. You don't have to think about strategies. Okay?
All right. Air Marshal Barbora, we're not getting a very clear line with you, but respecting your sentiment there, sir, just a lot of concern because the location, the timing of it all, of course, becomes extremely important. So we'll wait for the investigations to take place and the final conclusion to arrive. We leave it at that with you. Thank you for sharing your perspective on the topic.